Vermonters have two statewide ballot questions to answer this election cycle. You've heard a lot about the Reproductive Liberty Amendment, but what about the other called Prop 2? Fox 44's Josh Morrill has more on the question that would clarify language when it comes to slavery.
Prop 2, a ballot amendment to the Vermont Constitution, would solidify all forms of slavery are prohibited in the state.
So this really gives us a unique opportunity to take a stand as Vermonters to say this institution that we've inherited is morally reprehensible.
Debbie Ingram is a former state senator. She was the lead sponsor of the legislation behind Prop 2 in 2019, and it has since passed through the state Senate and House of Representatives twice. She says this proposed change would shift language in portions of Article 1 in the state's constitution, eliminating lines that would allow for indentured servitude and other stipulations.
Strike that middle part and then change it to end slavery and indentured servitude in any form are prohibited.
Peter Teachout, a longtime professor of constitutional law at Vermont Law and Graduate School, contributed to the writing of Prop 2's language. He says that Vermont's constitution has already eliminated slavery in the state for a long time, as the opening line states that all persons are born equally free and independent.
They said no inhabitant of the state can own a slave. Our Constitution makes that crystal clear.
While Teachout said slaves were not bought and sold in the state since 1777, white migrants that made their way to Vermont used to bring and possess slaves without punishment, and that the 1802 Vermont Supreme Court case of Stephen Jacob finally set a precedent that after any slave crossed into Vermont, their bounded contract would be null and void. But he says that we are still seeing the effects of the 25 years before that precedent was established.
I think over the long term maybe contributed to what people today call systemic racism. That is, people could begin to associate those slaves that are illegally brought and possessed in the state with people of color.
And while some historians don't want to see a change to Vermont's founding document, both Ingram and Teachout think a vote in favor of Prop 2 would send a national message.
It's a kind of statement we're making that says we are against racism.
Josh Morrill, Fox 44 News.